Thank you for that choice, Mark.
You're more than welcome. You know me, I'll always be happy to play an Elton John track.
You will. You're always playing Elton John. Now, you've got some shoes of Elton John's, haven't you?
I own a pair of shoes formerly owned and worn by...
Are you wearing them now? Those big, huge heels.
Well, no. And no, it's not a player platform. He is proper. Shoes.
Right. Anyway, important news.
Yes.
The Division of Occupational Psychology have been having their annual conference.
Okay.
Wow, you didn't go.
And this is important news, yeah?
It's important news.
Excellent.
Important news.
Keep going.
A favourite psychologist a favourite of mine, anyway, is Professor Adrian Furnham. He's at University College London, and he's the fella that he does a lot of work on leadership, and he coined the phrase, for example, a few years ago in one of his books, Kipper managers.
Kipper.
Two-faced and gutless. Anyway, Adrian's been on the stage again and winding people up, but what he was talking about this time was leadership, and he points out that there are 70,000 books in the British Library with leadership in the title.
70,000.
It's a big industry. Talking about it.
Snake oil. Oil.
And he says, but in fact, most leaders don't succeed. Most leaders fail. He said, with a base rate of bad leadership collated from studies that show 50%. So
wow,
that's not exactly most, is it? It's half. Anyway, half leaders actually fail.
And is it because they were trying to read their way through 70,000 books?
It could be. Well, he did. Well, you see, interestingly, he does say that all the previous, or a lot of the previous research and teaching was on traits, personality traits, and the problem was people were identifying so many different personality traits in successful leaders that it became just unworkable. They weren't really able to identify the key things. Mm-hmm. And he has gone on to look at why people are failing, and he said it's due to incompetence. Not having enough of something, or being promoted beyond the job that you're good at, so the old being promoted beyond it, or derailment, and that's having too much of a characteristic. Too much, for example, of self-confidence or creative quirkiness.
Ah, okay.
All right?
Okay.
So you might think, oh, great, self-confident, really confident person.
Yeah.
That can be a derailer. It get you in the end.
You can have too much of a good thing.
Yeah. And he focused on this, and he said that this derailment due to having too much of a characteristic has got three causes. You've either got people who are in troubled relationships, i.e. with their, I don't know whether he's referring to their home life, but certainly troubled relationships and relating to other people, a defective or unstable sense of self, and an ineffective response to change. Now, the interesting thing that I thought he was saying was that he reckons that organisations make a mistake by selecting in for the traits they think will help people be a success. So imagine yourself,
Hang on. It's a mistake to recruit the people with the traits you think will make them successful. So
I get you.
Okay, so are you, or is this person purporting it's good to hire people with all the wrong skills?
No.
Or traits?
No.
Okay, so therefore you've got to hire the ones with the right traits.
Or exclude the ones with the bad ones. Yeah, you see, that's a subtly different approach, isn't it? Yeah, so he's saying companies actively select in, but they don't pay attention to the fact that you can have too much of that. And it's all to do with this thing called the dark side. Have we talked about this before?
Yeah, when we had Darth Vader as a guest, I think we talked about that for a bit.
The dark side is a serious it's a serious instrument, as we say. It's the Hogan Development Survey, and part of it is the dark side, and it looks at why people get derailed. And it is very useful because you can have too much of a good thing. The arrogance that got you promoted to a certain position will get you in the end. That's the dark side of the light side.
Okay.
And he said that companies need to cut his long talk short, he was saying that companies should consider using the dark side measures. Be aware of excessive self-confidence and charm. Do a proper reference check and get an expert not an armchair psychologist, an expert, presumably one of his team, to select out for you. And he says, as for management, the message was to beware fast-tracking wunderkinds, to seek a mentor, a coach, or at least a very stable deputy to keep these individuals on the rails. Just as a good leader can do wonders for a group, one bad one can lead to doom and destruction.
Oh, I'll agree with that. Having experienced some bad leaders and the impact that they have on not just their team, but on a business, it can be awful. It can be awful. And where I find that does come up, and actually it sort of leads us a bit into